Welcome, dear listener, to the Secrets for a Happy Life podcast. Born from my desire to share the knowledge I've acquired on leading a better life, interwoven with diverse experiences from my travels, years of studying psychology, and life lessons. I'm Petra Kmetec-Bitens, your guide on this journey on rediscovering joy, productivity, and the essence of living a fulfilled life. Today we're gonna talk about the joy, about happiness. And did joy happen in your life recently? Did you find somebody to babysit your cat?
That would be more of happiness moment. No, I haven't found anyone yet. So yeah, if anyone around wants to look after my cat for the next 2 weeks, please, I would really appreciate it.
Can I start with one quote from Dalai Lama about joy and happiness?
Sure.
Okay.
I'd love that.
I will read it out. So, joy is not in things, it is in us. Happiness is not something ready-made, it comes from our own actions. And yeah.
Yeah, lovely. I have quotes from Brené Brown.
Go for it.
So the way she goes, and I love Brené Brown because she is very analytical, right? She's done a lot of research. So her definition is based on research, and she defines joy as an intense feeling of deep spiritual connection, pleasure, and appreciation. And it really resonates with me the way she looks at joy, almost from the sense of deep gratitude where it really originates. It's so deep within us. It's one of the core emotions, and we all have it. And it doesn't matter what's going on around you, you can still find that inner joy, I believe, based on appreciating all the good things and just being really grateful for everything that you do have.
Yeah, gratitude is a big one. I always try to go to gratitude whenever I feel low, so I start to feel grateful for everything I have in my life, I do in my life, for all the people around me and the air that I breathe and everything. And I have to say I feel much, much better afterwards. But if I really feel it, not just repeating the words in my head, but really feel this feeling of gratitude deep inside my body.
Yeah, and I think, like looking at the little kids, right? They're pure joy. You watch kids playing. They're not in their heads yet. They're just really enjoying being present in the moment. And I think this is a great demonstration of how natural that emotion is to us. And if you look at the Inside Out movie, right, it starts with pretty much joy is the dominant, if you like, emotion when the protagonist is a little kid, right? It's just joy with a little bit of other emotions kicking in. And then as she grows older, all those other more complicated emotions start competing for the control panel. But it's so innate in us, and it doesn't really go away. It just gets sometimes almost pushed aside, but we can always reconnect to it because it's within us.
Yeah, like all the other feelings, right?
Yeah.
We all have them inside us, and we can reconnect with them every time that we want to. So it's really nice to do some meditation around that, because you can really feel all those emotions that you want to welcome in your life, that you want to call in your life. And how do you think about joy? Is it something to be pursued like for all cost, or is something that is just has to be in balance with other emotions in our lives? Because this can get really tricky sometimes if people are just wanting to experience joy and those hedonistic sides of the joy.
Yeah, I would almost say that's like this pursuit, never-ending pursuit for happiness rather than joy, And again, picking up from Brené Brown's definition of happiness, I think she links it more to the circumstances around you, the circumstances and perhaps people and experiences, environments. So that's more like, what we can chase and pursue, while joy is something more internal, and it's less linked to circumstances, but really about the way you are in those circumstances. But either way, I'm all for balance. I don't think there are bad or good emotions and we want to get rid of the bad and cultivate the good. I think it's really finding that if you notice that there hasn't been much joy in your life lately, maybe this is a time to reflect on everything that has been good in your life, everything that you can be grateful for. And yeah, if there is a lot of joy and happiness, that's awesome. But also one can be mindful, am I pushing back some sadness, anger, just really all of them are very important for us, I believe.
Yeah.
What's your take on this?
Yeah, I also think all are important, and we feel mix of everything. It's not just joy, and if we want to be all the time in these positive feelings, I think this is not okay. So it's good to welcome also sadness, anger, fear, and also joy, because some people are afraid of joy also. So if I'm gonna be happy about something, if I'm gonna feel joyful about something, then I'm gonna jinx it. So we also need to say, okay, I allow myself to feel joy, to be joyful, and to experience this feeling also, and everything is gonna be okay afterwards. Yeah. And also you said the joy is it's in us, deep in us, but also I think joy can be linked to some achievements. If we are let's say working on some project for maybe 2-3 years and we finish it and it's we are happy about it, then we feel joy, we feel this pride that we accomplished it. So it's also, we can build this sense of joy, the feeling of joy in ourselves, or with good relationships after a good conversation. You feel better, you can feel this joy, this gratitude for
I see your point, but I almost feel like joy is not based on accomplishing something, but rather just being in the process, and then you can be happy or you feel pride or whatever else is that. But I think that's more of semantics. But I really glad you made your point about the jinxing it and being afraid of feeling the happiness, because that actually rang a bell with me. And I wonder if it's a cultural thing, if that's something that you've seen in Slovenia growing up. But that was definitely, and I forgot about it, but that was really present in my childhood. And I remember hearing things like, oh, there is a saying in Russian, like, after the sun comes the rain. So basically, if you're laughing too much, if you're having a good time, you're going to be crying after. So almost you need to suppress the, all the happiness and joy, try and mitigate the negative impact, which is basically you end up suppressing all the emotions.
We have different saying. We say, after every rain there comes the sun.
Well, that might be a better one, right?
Yeah.
But I think it's got probably cultural roots and historical roots, right? From the times when people who were doing better at some point, when the revolution happened in 1917, they were all taken, all their possessions were taken, some of them were taken to prisons, etc. So perhaps people learned not to show that they are doing well or feeling well and be very kind of low profile. So maybe that's where it's coming from. But it's interesting to be mindful of this, because I completely forgot, and there are in different cultures potentially certain messaging around being either too joyful or too happy, etc., that we pick up completely unconsciously.
Yeah, in our country culture, I think joy is, if you see, not if you see people who are joyful, but I think many people are envious towards people who are joyful, and that's why you don't want to show that you feel this joy, because you don't want to be excluded out of your company around you. So yeah, we have a good time with friends and everything, but not too much. Don't show too much joy.
Yeah, that's an interesting one as well, right? Well, it is basic, and if you look at a lot of countries that are not that economically advanced, there are still, it's really about, we don't need a lot of possessions to be joyful and be happy. I'm always really admiring a lot of people from Africa. They have these joyful lives, they're always smiling, they're always happy. Many of them do not have a lot, but they have this amazing love for life, and they're just joyful, happy, smiling, sharing. They don't seem to be holding back and worrying about someone else jinxing it or, you know, excluding them, because it's just, it seems to be the vibes there, and I love it.
Yeah, the same in Asia. You see kids with one bowl of rice with nothing else, and they're happy. They're really joyful because of that. And then we have everything, and we are like, nah, I don't want to eat that. And you're not happy with what you have. So yeah, it's a perspective, and also comparison. I think it kills joy. If you compare yourself to others, if you want to have more, if you're constantly, but if you want to have more, this can be good also, because you strive for more and you do more and you develop yourself a little bit, you also grow in a way. But this negative comparison, oh, she has new shoes and I'm now really sad because I don't have them, that's not okay. So
yeah, and that's again, you know, I think that's what the messaging we've become. It's not about the shoes, right? It's interpretation, what we make that mean. So for instance, you know, the kid says someone else has new shoes, new toys, new phone, whatever it might be, and they would likely interpret that I'm not good enough, I'm not important enough, whatever, not enough, and they pick it up and they may carry it on for many years after, which is not really necessarily the case.
So if we look from the psychological point of view, we can say that we feel joy when our values are met, when we feel content with our life, when we go deep inside us and we are grateful for everything that we have in our lives, even if it's not much, and we can experience it. And I used to do the meditation where I went into my sacred cave inside meditation, and there I would feel like complete bliss, like total joy and everything. And I think everybody can do that. So you can have some place inside yourself, inside like a chamber in your mind, where you can go to search for those feelings that you maybe lack in your daily life, and you can always feel that.
Yes, it's a great one. And I believe, yeah, it's really also about being connected to yourself, being your authentic self. Because if you've gone into the mode where you're always trying to please others, through no fault of your own, through the circumstances, that's a coping mechanism a lot of people adopt in early childhood, either people pleasing or whatever, that avoiding conflict at all costs. In the end of the day, you don't even know who you are. You're so disconnected from yourself, trying to please everyone else, trying to make sure everyone is happy, no conflict, not saying what you want. Not even, if you don't say what you want for a long time, you don't even know what you want anymore. You don't know who you are. And it's very difficult to feel joy when you're disconnected from yourself.
Beautifully said.
Thank you. But yeah, I think the good news is really, it's still within us and it's always possible to reconnect.
Yeah, it is. And also in really dire situations, like Viktor Frankl was writing in his book, even when you have nothing, when you are in really tough situations, you can still access to the joyful part in you. So it's an attitude of life, I would say.
Yeah, absolutely.
Do you have any practices that you use to elevate this feeling when you need it?
Not really, to be honest, but what I do is I do practice gratitude, and I usually do it first thing in the morning and sometimes when I go to bed as well. But first thing in the morning, I wake up and I'm like, okay, I'm grateful. I woke up, I'm feeling good, nothing hurts or almost nothing hurts. I had a good night's sleep, you know, it's a wonderful day and I'm excited about it. And just think of a few things that I can be grateful for. And there is always something to be grateful for, you know. I've got 2 eyes, I've got 2 hands, 2 legs, everything's working perfect, amazing, super grateful. So many people don't have that. So many people have not woken up today. So
yeah, and it's okay if you're grateful every day for the same things, because many people ask me, okay, but I was grateful for that yesterday. Can I be grateful for that today? I said, of course, why not? It's totally normal. Yeah.
Yeah, and another thing that we take for granted, so many of us, but in the past 2 years, with all the conflict in the world, I'm genuinely grateful every single day for the peaceful sky above my head. I'm so grateful for that because, again, so many people do not have that.
I had something in my mind. We kind of touched it. So this that we don't go into this toxic positivity. If we want to feel joy in our lives, that for you can, but we said already, you can be sad, you can be angry, you can feel all those emotions, and that is healthy. So not avoiding those emotions that aren't pleasant. I won't say negative because they are not, but that are not pleasant, just in constant rush for feeling joy and happiness and all those positive emotions, because we need both of them, and they are all showing us something. They are signals, they are messengers. And if you just want to feel good emotions and never feel those unpleasant emotions, I think it's also time to stop, to reflect what is going on with me, what is going on with my life, and why do I want to avoid this? Why do I want to run away from those feelings? And because there is also growth in the feelings that are not so positive, let's say. You can find something inside, and if you cannot cope those feelings, then it's time to reflect and ask yourself, why am I avoiding them?
Thank you for bringing that up again, because this cannot be emphasized enough, I believe. And there is so much now, especially in the spiritual communities, this whole positive vibes only and so on. Honestly, I see it, I cringe a little bit. It's such a bypass. It's like, yeah, I'm just gonna look this way. Well, it's not going away, it's there, and you're pushing it down. It's gonna push back, and it's not gonna be pretty. So it's better face everything that's surfacing for you. Healing happens through feeling. You cannot avoid feeling those uncomfortable feelings, whether it's fear, sadness. You need to be with it. You may need to cry, you may need to scream, you may want to punch a pillow, whatever needs to happen, but you need to feel it. And if you just say, no, I'm not gonna feel that, well, it doesn't work that way. I'm sorry.
And also, important thing is with parents, that they allow their kids to be joyful, because some parents cannot handle the joy because they weren't supposed to, they weren't allowed to feel joy when they were little. So when their kids are happy, joyful, they don't know what to do with these emotions, so they just try to suppress it. So I think this is also something that is helpful, just to say yes.
That's a great point as well. And also, I think joy, especially in kids, but not only in kids, but I think joy and play come together very often, and certain brain circuits develop through play. So play is so important, but spontaneous play, and we're not talking about playing on iPad, but more like kids getting together and role playing something, or playing with the ball, playing with whatever they find, and kids can play with anything. So just really encouraging that helps healthy brain development.
Yeah. Do you have anything else that you want to talk about around joy?
No, nothing specific about joy. The one thing that comes to mind around happiness, and it's just something that I remember from, I think it's from Lost Connections book on depression. And the guy who wrote the book, and he was doing the research, he found the interesting differences in how people perceive happiness, depending again on the cultural background. So, for instance, in Asia, he noticed that people are really focused on the community. So for them, it's really making sure the community is happy, and you derive your happiness from there almost. Whilst in the Northern America, for example, it was very much self-centered, so very individualistic country, or not country, but the culture in those areas, and it's very different the way people experience happiness in a way. So that's just a point that came up for me now.
Yeah, that's interesting. Oh, I need to I have one book, The Cultural Code, and many people said this is really good one. Read it. I have it. I haven't started reading it, so I think now is the time to go a bit deeper inside those topics also, because different cultures, we are so different. We may look alike, yeah, not so, but we are really different in our way of thinking and how we interpret things and everything.
Yeah, well, do share once you read it. Do share with us the insights.
I will. So.
Hey, well, I think that's it from me for now.
Yeah, for me too. So thank you everybody for listening, for jumping into our call, and feel free to ask us something, comment, share, whatever you want, and yeah, be grateful.
Yes. Grateful, joyful, play, have fun. And we'll see you next Monday.
Yeah. Have a good day. Bye.
Bye.